My name's Billy Moore, this is the Billy Moore podcast, and my first guest and dear friend is James English. Welcome.
How are we, brother?
Yeah, I'm good.
Thanks for having us on, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure to be on your very first podcast.
Thank you.
We've came a long way, mate, haven't we, since you were on mine over a year ago?
It was nearly, I was thinking about it, it was almost 2 years ago. And I remember speaking to you and you saying to me, you'll probably reach about 10,000 views within a month. Mm-hmm. And I was like feeling quite grateful for the opportunity to have that platform, and then like 18 months later you're pushing up to 1 million views. I'd say James is probably the most viewed podcast in the UK. Mm-hmm. I mean, and the only person that I've stayed friends with since, out of everyone. So tell me about yourself.
From Glasgow, grew up in the tough streets of Glasgow in a place called Possil. Possil Park was very rough. Grew up with a lot of drink, drugs and violence. We grew up in a place called Stonyhurst Street. Stonyhurst Street was like, it's like big blocks. Just my mum, my dad, my sister, but rough. People sleeping in the closes and all the lights were off, and my mum and dad never had much back then, kind of struggled. It was like pieces in jam, pieces in butter, not much. My mum worked in a place called Monroe Click. My dad became a bouncer, and then it was just wild. It was like I was a fire starter in my very early ages. I used to set fire to all the bins, and I used to phone the fire brigade, and we used to phone them to put the bins out. But when they were driving away, we used to run behind it and jump on the ladders of the fire brigade. We used to call that a hudgie.
Yeah, so we do that on the buses.
Yeah. It's fucking scary though, because they used to slam the brakes on the bastards. So they did.
They fucking know you're on there, don't they? That's what it is.
Yeah, so we grew up very, very rough, brother. But great memories. Still speak to a lot of the neighbours now, and and it kind of ingrained into me then that life ain't going to be easy.
How old are you now?
36.
36, so you're still a pup, aren't you? Still a youth. And it's you've come so far. I'm quite impressed with your achievements, and I've always said that, and we've always maintained a friendship, and and that's something that you don't develop. Just there's got to be something in it. So tell me a little bit about the interview, and like your interviewing techniques. It's because this is new to me. Now I've told my story that many times that I thought it's about time that I sat there and listened to someone else, and you've always encouraged me, to do a podcast. Now there's people out there that'll extend the hand of friendship and the extend the hand of help, and people will just stand on you to get where they want. But you're not that kind of guy, you know what I mean? And I respect you for that. So can you tell me, is there any times that you've ever you felt any fear interviewing any guests? Have you ever felt intimidated or uncomfortable, or you thought, this was a bad one, or you know what I mean?
Never any fear. It's my life's always been chaos, so the more hard hitting the story, the kind of more excited I get, because I know we've got something here. It's people's just creating stories. Now I've done over 130 guests now. I've never sat with questions in front of me. It's just a case of the way me and you're speaking, no bullshitting. I believe I've got a gift. I can make people present their best self to me. Now I've seen struggle. I've lost family members to murder, suicide, overdose. I've been an addict myself. I've been fucking wild back in the day. So I understand everybody. It's about being versatile and just understanding that everyone has a story and not passing judgment. And I'm going to have people that comes on my podcast and will maybe tell lies or pull the wool over your eyes. That's understandable. We ain't human. We ain't perfect. But I believe that just give people an opportunity to tell their story. But the more hard hitting the story, I believe that then it's weird. Like I said before, my life has been chaos for so many years. Not now, but so many years. So when you hear people's stories, I can understand, because you must have a bullshit radar as well. Of course. You must get it's people are going to invent stories for attention and for acceptance. And I've done it myself, going to jail and telling people that I was in for something else that I really wasn't. So I was in for shoplifting, but I was in for some major bank robbery or some crazy job, because I felt embarrassed and ashamed. But I think over the years, for me, is what's attractive is the honesty and transparency and being open, and it's that fear of sharing that story to a mass population who's especially viewing these kind of stuff. So
Have you ever sat there? And I know you don't pass judgment. I know you're not an investigator. You got some of these podcasters that want to go around and expose people and feel like they're like Quincy and Miami Vice, and I just think it's a load of bullshit. And I've got this shame as well. Some people just chat loads of shite, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
but people are going to do that. Everybody wants to make themselves look good, but there's majority of people has come on, told their story, and it has been blown away and powerful. And like you say, I'm not a journalist. I'm just there for people to tell their story, and other people can be the judge once their story's out there.
Yeah.
Everybody's different, but people smell bullshit. People know bullshit, so it's hard to pull the wool over people's eyes for so long. So a lot of the people come on. I've got to take my hat off to everybody that's been on, because they've offered their time, told their story. But of course, people are going to come on. I'm going to go, you're full of shit, and because a lot of people might just think I'm an interviewer. If I go down to London, they just think boy from Glasgow. They don't realise that the shit that I've been through.
No.
Do you know what I mean? They don't see the fucking.
You don't see the fucking.
Yeah.
You've got your head's fucking full of bananas overnight. You know what I mean? And you're plotting up, and you know, we that's why I think we can identify and we can communicate easy, because we understand how we operate. You know what I mean? And that's, you know, that doesn't just happen overnight. You've got to have an experience of some sort.
Yeah.
To get to the point, you know, I mean, hardships and, you know, redemption. And this is what you're about. And what I like what you said to me was that you want to interview people that have changed their lives, or that are willing to change their lives. Why do you think that's important?
Because everybody's struggling. We're all struggling. Now, my life is going great. I'm making a bit of money, and I'm drink free, I'm drug free, I'm gambling free. I believe I'm in a better headspace. I still have my demons, but I still battle every single day, including social media. It's self-seeking. What is a podcast? Really? When you break it down, what is it I'm doing? Why do I want to be the biggest in the UK? Why do I want to be the biggest in the world? Is that my addiction again kicking in? But it's more a healthier addiction. So now I'm building a big enough platform that people are watching. So millions watch every month. Now I can show them that people are vulnerable. Now I interview the biggest and baddest men in the UK, but when you break it all down, they're all vulnerable. They're all scared. They hold a gun and a knife because they want to protect themselves from fear. They've been bullied or abused when they're younger, so they want to protect themselves, and they present that self, and people go, do you know what? He's actually okay. People, no matter what you see in social media or the press, it is fake, it's an illusion, but I make people come across as them to the best in my ability. Obviously, people are going to tell lies. I still tell lies, do you know what I mean? But it's to build this platform, to be as big as it can be, and then promote mental health, promote addictions, promote change, because everybody's got change in them, no matter how fucked up your past is. Look at your past, drugs, prison, changed your life, and now your life isn't the best I've ever seen it anyway since I've came across you.
Well, I was thinking about this morning, because I was thinking, how do we discuss, like, because this is my, my platform, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to hear your story. But I was thinking about the last time that we spoke, and it was just over 18 months ago. I was living in my mum's on a tag. I was on a home detention curfew, just being released from prison, and I was sleeping on a camp bed in the front room with a dog, and my mum, her partner, and my brother who's got autism, Joe, in this bungalow.
Shout out to Joe.
In a big shout out to our Joe. But it was that was the time when I was rock bottom, in a sense, you know what I mean? And I come back, and some people, like I said to you the other day, I sent you a little message, from people send me a little message. Some people are like, you don't change, and that's 1 out of a million that say that. And like others say, thanks for your story, it's quite inspiring. I suppose you get the shame, the trolls. And,
but again, everybody's allowed an opinion. I always say that, but when it comes to hate speech, it becomes a different story. Now, we're not shy to walk away. We're not shy to step forward and confront people. Yeah. But there comes a time you go, I'm not giving that my energy anymore. And it's took me 2 years to realise I ain't biting. No. Do you know what I mean? I get thousands of positive messages, and I'll get the odd negative one. Or now it's just a case of, so be it. I don't care. I just laugh it off. And it's fake profiles. It's not, somebody's not going to step forward or approach me on the street or come face to face. Do you know what I mean? So it's I'm similar to yourself. It's like I used to live for the likes and the shares, and and I'd look on Amazon and look at who's reviewed the book, and there'd be loads of positive reviews, and then there'd be that one negative, and I'd be like, Liam Neeson, I will find you, know what I mean, and hunt you down. How dare you don't even know me.
But yeah, that's you're right. People have got their opinions. So, you know, how many podcasts have you been on? One.
Yeah.
And who was that by?
Inspired Edinburgh.
Inspired Edinburgh.
Big guy for Edinburgh, nice big guy, Big Elliot.
Yeah.
That was my first one. That was more about addictions and stuff. I was just starting off then. That was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I get asked daily to do podcast and tell my story, but I just don't feel as if I'm there. Like, but obviously when you're set years, that I would have been there in a minute, because we speak nearly every day for the last 18 months. So I'm more than happy to come on here and do what I can and help boost your YouTube as well, because I know I'm getting you on yourself for a part 2.
Yeah.
But it's good, mate, that's the thing about podcasts. Everybody's into them just now. Might last only 3 years, 5 years, but it's an opportunity to build your brand, to build your name, get a second film out, create another book. Now I'm taking over it. That's no questions about it. No. People might watch and think, cock here. It's confident. I've changed so much to then find my lane.
Who do you think you're up against in seriously, right, in the podcast?
I think I'm on a league of my own.
Yeah.
People have got more subscribers, but the way I can conduct myself in an interview, people think it's easy to sit for 2 hours without any questions, without any takes, all one take, and adapt to the person. And it's some scary shit that people can say as well. For people watching it, go, fuck me, that was explosive. But I love it. Yeah. I genuinely love it. I know where I can take this interview now. I'll box off the UK and then I'll take it global. I'll travel the world interviewing the biggest names.
Yeah, well, I've been like, I'm going to share how it is. There's like what? There's the True Geordie.
Mm-hmm. He's killed it, man. Fair play to him.
Yeah. He's sort of changed his year. He's gone into a lot of football. And Sean Atwood, right now, I've been quite disappointed. And I've watched a lot of his podcasts recently, and I actually got in touch with him about 18 months ago and said, can you remove a video of me and you? Because you're talking about prison rape. I felt really uncomfortable sitting there listening to him. And then in the past month, there's just been loads of shit about him.
Yeah, I've seen all that.
So I've looked at it and I thought, is this right? And I've had this like weird feeling about him anyway over the years. I think he's a bit of a lizard. And I will say how it is, he's not one of us. You know, his little soft hands. And I don't want to start putting him down, but the reality of it is, my brother has got autism, right? So I found out that this girl that he's dressed up as a little kid and got on her knees to do a blowjob is fucking weird. So I said, look, is this true? And he's justifying it and he's making out that the trolls, and I'm thinking, the more I'm hearing about it, the more I just see him like spewing lies up.
When you actually break it all down, there's something fucking, it's something.
There's something sinister,
yeah.
Right, there's something sinister. And my concern was that he's a responsible adult who's having a young, vulnerable girl who's being trafficked on his podcast. And she's now in positions where she's on her knees, she's dressed up as a girl, she's snorting fake cocaine and talking about slapping all kinds of kids. It's just weird, you know what I mean? And I started to think about my brother and how vulnerable he is, and with his autism. And he's a bit different in a sense of where he's not as functioning as this Cali girl. But the reality is, you know, she is quite vulnerable. You know what I mean? So I was quite angered. Yeah, and I wanted to voice that because I'd like him to remove my videos. I've known him for quite some time, and the hashtags he's got, you know, I just feel really uncomfortable with him, and you know, and I believe he's got a fucking nosedive.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The guy's channel was flying. He seemed to have been doing well, but again, the prank video, when you actually look at it, I don't understand it. No. I thought it was funny, kind of sitting pretending, but then I didn't know that girl's background. I didn't know.
This is
even the troll hand.
Mate, this is
It's not even. But how do you say what is a troll?
Well, yeah. Well, I looked at the definition of troll, and it's supposed to inflame, or kind of like get on someone's sort of case really when they're doing something. You know what I mean? But the reality of it is, he's created these consequences. He's created problems, and now he's avoiding it. And everyone's a troll who asks him questions, right? So I've asked him a question, right? I've got messages on my phone, right? And I've said to him, look, this is how I feel. This is quite strange. He's asking me to ask Kelly yourself. I think, nah, mate, you're not playing straight here. So he's gone down on me yesterday, right? And this is kind of like, I'm on a platform here, and this is the kind of stuff that I don't want to be involved in. So.
But you've got to speak your truth and speak your opinion. Do you know what I mean? I just always give Sean the benefit of the doubt as well, because I thought in prison in America as well, maybe that he was abused or something. That's why he wanted to be an activist and help child abuse. But again, if there's more stuff comes out, I will not be shy than exposing it. I've never outed anybody ever on my show. No. People can do their own thing, but when it comes to serious stuff like this, I just quite don't understand the full picture of it. I don't understand why you would have a vulnerable girl dressed up as a kid pretending to suck you off, and then pretending
it was a prank,
who's got an addiction to pretending to snort coke and pimp girls out. I understand that the girl's been photos, and I still don't get it all. I don't understand. I still try to get my head around it. If I'm wrong, then I'll put my hands up and say, look, I'm sorry, but it's just that much stuff. And to do that kind of activism and be that person, your hands have got to be clean, because people will dig and dig and dig. But
no, and I get, like, you know, if you're wrong, you put your hands up. But you know, when you've got enough awareness and understanding and a feeling around people, and you think, yeah, I've had this feeling for years, and I think, yeah, he's a lizard, he's a bit of a snake, he's not shooting straight, he's quite odd and peculiar, he's asking questions that make me feel uncomfortable around a lot of things. And it's just, for me to actually say to someone who's got a platform with 500,000 subscribers, can you remove a video of me and you on that interview, does not make me feel good. Now that tells me something.
Gut feeling?
Yeah, there's a good feeling, and it's like, you know, look, I'm 47, I've been around for a long time, you know what I mean? I've been in the company of, like, people that think, yeah, do you know that one when you walk into a room and the whole atmosphere changes when there's somebody in there that you don't like or you feel strange about? That's the kind of the feeling I get. You know what I mean? I act a little bit differently.
The energy.
Yeah, the energy's just...
Yeah, I would take to think, he's been on my show once, he's told his story, but he's been on through Geordie, he's been on, what is it, Value Entertainment, he's been on some major podcasts, and I would take to think, listen, everybody, there's going to be people slipping through the net that come on my podcast that are going to be fucking wrongings, but if anybody is on my podcast and does pull the wool over your eyes, especially when it comes to, like, kids and stuff like that, I will fucking expose it. There's no two ways about it.
I get it, and this is where I've got to be careful with guests, and I've sort of confided in you around a few guests that I've had lines up, and you've given me some pointers around, maybe this is not a good idea, maybe that's, you need to go down this avenue, and that's what I've got to look at as well. I can't just say, let's come on, what have you done, and then find out something. So how do you monitor that? I didn't for the first 2 years, because you're just happy to get guests. You're getting happy to get guests who've got stories, who you've maybe seen on other platforms getting views, and you think, okay, that can help build my channel, because it is a business. At the end of the day, it is a business to bring in. It's still entertainment as well. It is. But again, when it comes to serious stuff like that, then I need to be more careful. I ain't because a fucking paedophile hunter. I've had people on speaking about some heavy stuff, but now there's a lot of question marks. Hashtags. And I've got to think, okay, wait a minute. Have I got it wrong? But again, if I've got it wrong, or I have got it wrong, I'll be the first to put my hands up and go, listen, I fucked that there. But you do need to be careful, especially when it comes to things like child abuse. I met amazing women on, Barbara O'Hare, who wrote the book called The Hospital, who I always give a shout out to, Stephen Smith, who wrote Boy in the Cellar. These two were involved in Aston Halls, where doctors were abusing them, killing them, and doing some nasty shit to kids. So I know people are the real deal, their stories are there, other people's stories ain't verified. So now, are they doing it to create an income? Are they doing it to... I've never asked for any money. Any money off any of my viewers, never. I've worked hard, relentlessly. I travel up and down the country, do 3-4 podcasts in a day sometimes, and it's tiring. But I just know, with my confidence and my vision, where I'm going to take it and create a brand. But I still want to create awareness for so many different things. But now my platform is building, so I can kind of turn people into celebrities as well. So I need to be careful that people are doing it for the right reasons. We've all got an agenda.
I want to do well for me. I've got kids to support.
Yeah.
Same as yourself, you've got a family to support now. So we want to build a brand, but I will get it wrong. But when it comes to the serious stuff, and if I get the right information, everything's hearsay. Now, even though I troll, I have your opinion, but when it comes to hate speech, then I believe, right, you're coming a troll. But some of these trolls, I wouldn't even call them trolls, because some of the stuff that they say is fucking true.
Yeah.
So you need to be careful who you're calling trolls and who you're not. So now I understand now is to be open to everything. Yeah. I don't have all the answers. I stay in my lane. I work hard, so I ain't got time to dig into other people's lives and fucking problems. Do you know what I mean? I've never outed anyone on my show. I've had people that I could fire back at, but I've not.
But at the same time, you don't want to find out moving forward that you're attached to something that you didn't really want to be attached to. But this is stuff that I've got to learn, and I'm always open to new ideas, and you know, it's quite. So going forward, right? You've got this podcast, this platform. You're doing really well. Congratulations, by the way. Seriously, you've earned it. You have. I've seen you week in, week out, pushing. Yeah. Like there's no tomorrow, and it's never been about you and your agenda. It's just been about listening to other people's stories and giving them a platform and like turning them into celebrities, if you like. So a lot of people pull me up in the streets and say, I've seen you on the James English. No one pulls me up and says, I've seen you on the True Geordie or the Sean. It's the James English first and foremost. And that's where they know me from. And then it's what follows on from that. So yeah, that's fucking hell. You fucking, a lot of people listen to you. Can you tell me about this, your experience? Because I've been thinking about it, you know, the ayahuasca.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
I was tripping balls, man. Yeah. I was tripping balls. Now, I was going in a good place. I was still off the gear. I was still off the booze. I was off the gambling. Yeah. I was still working on myself. I enjoyed interviewing people. I got the call to say, look, we can give you a media trade. You do the documentary. We'll give you a free stay, you and your team. Yeah. Was there a part of me thinking, I can use this as an excuse because I can get fucked up? I've not been high in a while. Or was I thinking, okay, I can go here and it sounds good, they sell it well, but is it a cult? Is it a money-making scheme? I don't trust anybody. So for me, I still questioned it. Yeah. But I done it. I'm still in a great place. When I took it, they say it's a shortcut to happiness. They say when you drink it, it reconnects you with your soul. It makes you face all your fears and trauma, not just from this life, but previous lives. Yeah. So I thought, fuck it. I'm doing it. I've done it. Still in a great place. A lot of people who've done it slipped back, but it felt culty. It felt like a cult.
Did it? Yeah.
It felt like, again, I've got good instincts and gut feeling. I just felt, I would do it again. We're doing it again. Yeah, I've got another documentary planned that we're in talks with, but I'm in a good place, man. But is that my insecurities and my trust issues that they kept telling me to surrender, go towards the pain? Because I was in hell, flames all the time surrounding me while taking it. And I thought, fuck that, man. So some people were taking half a cup. I was taking 2 and 3 cups. Again, that's like addiction, getting high, taking away from reality. But yeah, I done it. I'm still in a good place. The documentary was powerful, but I don't want to be an ambassador for it. No, I don't want to trick people to think this is going to be your answers. It ain't your answers, because you still need to go home and work religiously to help yourself.
Exactly. It's not a magic pill or a magic drink. See, for me, I'm similar to yourself about in addictions. I haven't used for a long time, and I feel quite grounded in my recovery. I know there's no meetings at the moment because of what's going on the planet globally. But yeah, I feel I've been around for a long time, and I'm aware of how I operate and my triggers. And I've got all those fears. I like what you said before. Doesn't matter who you are, what you are, how big you are, or who you're up against. It's there's that. Yeah. There's that, mate. We are blessed with a few short decades. You know, I just feel really grateful for what I've got for that today. You know what I mean? I do.
It's scary, mate, because time flies that fast.
It's us in the blink of an eye. We're gone. I was thinking, see. You know, I'm 47 and I had cancer. I couldn't have kids, and 18 months ago I was sitting in my mum's, sleeping on a camp bed in the front room, with no family, and now I've got a loving family, and I've got a baby boy who's 5 months old, and he's a blessing. He's a little miracle, and he's gorgeous. He takes after his mum.
With mum then, innit?
Oh yeah, he's always lovely, doesn't he? Take after his mum. I haven't got a look in there, but yeah. So this is what for me life's all about, and why I wanted to come on and speak to you yourself, because it's 18 months ago, 2 years nearly now. Is some people don't make it.
Yeah.
I've buried half a dozen people this year, friends, family. Some people don't make it. The addictions, suicide. A friend of mine ended his life in January. A good friend of mine ended his life in January this year. Another friend passed away of cancer. Another friend just passed away of just his lungs gave in, and you know, my uncle passed away. It was, you know, so there's loads of loss.
Yeah.
And the older you get, the more you feel it and how do you deal with it. And you know. Yeah,
life is scary, but I used to always tell you we need to keep chipping away. This was last year, and we just chip away. Now look what we're doing now. We never get that fulfillment. We're never going to be complete, no matter what we do. I used to always think, oh, I've got 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
I'm hitting $250,000, and it just doesn't. I used to think that if I get 1 million views, that's amazing. I've made it.
Yeah.
Now I'm hitting 30 million. It just doesn't.
It's never enough.
It's never enough.
No, it's not.
Is that me being ungrateful? Is that me not showing gratitude? I do show gratitude, and I still do mega work on the outside that nobody ever hears about, the goodness, but it's just about trying to find balance, man. Like, I'm in a great place, but I'm still scared to drink because I know how fast I can get depressed. And if I can get depressed and feel like shit some days when life is going great, imagine what it's like if I was drinking, taking coke, or taking weed, Valium. It just makes everything 100 times worse.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Life is for living, but we're human beings, we're vulnerable. I cry all the time, do you know what I mean? And it's scary.
So, question, how do you deal with your the mental gymnastics, you know, your mental health?
I need to go out running.
Go out running. So
I need to run.
Physical activity.
I need to run, because if I eat crap, then I can eat crap for 3-4 days. And that's just the way I am. If I have a baguette or a sandwich, that bread will fuck me up for free. And that's like crack to me. I can eat good for 5 days and a week and lose half a stone and everything. I'm out running 10-mile runs, but I can lay in my bed for 1 day, but that 1 day can slip 3-4 days. I'll put a wee post on social media to pretend that I'm fine, and everybody, you're doing amazing.
We're all guilty, aren't we?
I mean, and I need to be more aware of my social media, because I know how addicted I am to it.
Yeah.
I'm so addicted. That's became an addiction as well. Self-seeking. Post, you're doing amazing, James, you're doing this, but again, it's fake attention. When my real attention should be from my family. Yeah. But even then, you think, okay, I'm doing it all for my family, but then when you're with your family, they do your fucking head in. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's to find balance and understand life as a roller coaster. Yeah, but
do you know what, right? I can identify with everything you've just said, and I love your honesty, because for me, you know, being honest and open is it encourages others, because I get messages from lots of people still after our podcast telling me, you know, thanks for your story, it was quite inspiring. And I can identify with the food as well. You know, I'm lying in bed, and my biggest problem today is the fridge at 3 o'clock in the morning. Seriously, right? It speaks to me, right, very seductively. It's like Beyonce, early hours in the morning, in a French accent. Je m'appelle. And I'm creeping down the stairs, military position, and I'm opening the fridge, and I go, and I feel bad about it, you know what I mean? And then I'm in the gym, like an Avenger, and I'm training. It's like I'm always trying to beat the clock. But what I don't do is I don't pick up drugs. I don't step back into those old shoes and go around that path and find myself shitting in prison cells. No matter, you know, my worst day clean is got to be better than my best day using, if that makes any sense. So if we had all the drugs, all the drink, or whatever in the world, I still wouldn't be happy. But my worst day clean is better than all that. So that's how I see it. And physical activity, that's great for your mental health. It sets you up for the day. And they're closing the fucking gyms in Liverpool.
That's sad.
It's like we're on a tier 3. You just open them, everyone's got the confidence back. Everyone's getting back in the gym, feeling good about things. And next episode, you know, Big Boris is shutting us down again.
Yeah, this is just a major recession for everyone. We're in a recession, but
Yeah.
homelessness is going to rise, suicide's going to rise, drug abuse, drink abuse. This isn't the coronavirus. Everybody's got their opinion. For me, it's for to control. It's just mass control. It's just to drill fear into people. You're wearing a fin mask. That ain't going to stop a fucking virus. You can catch a virus through your eyeballs. It can go through your eyes. So people wear a mask to walk into a restaurant, but can take it off and eat that. It just doesn't make so much. Doesn't make sense because someone put. I don't know the figures. I watched a few YouTube videos. I ain't an expert.
No,
I just feel as if we're getting brainwashed too much, too fast, and it's scary to me how fast the world can be shut down.
Well, to be fair, I was quite vigilant in the beginning. You know, washing my hands, keeping away from people, separating myself from society. Because I was told I was in a vulnerable category due to having cancer. So I thought, well, I need to take care of myself, and I done what was needed. And now it's got to a stage where I can't be arsed. I really, I can't. I've had enough of doing what people tell me to. You know, even yesterday I was walking with a colleague and the police pulled me up. I said, do we live in the same household? I said, well, no, but we work together. But if we didn't, what were they going to do next? See, we're living in a strange time, aren't we? Really?
Yeah, you just got to keep your head above water, get out and walk, exercise. Now we're not in a jail, so you can still get out and walk, eat right. As human beings, we tend to let everything affect us fast, and then instead of going, wait a minute, I'm not dying, I've got food in my fridge, I can go a nice walk, I can take the dog a walk, I can do press-ups in the house. Find solutions and not problems. Don't let this defeat you. Now, when the lockdown came in March, April, my podcast started flying.
Yeah.
Because I was still working hard.
And people are locked up, aren't they?
Locked up. So it's scary that I utilised it to my main advantage.
Yeah.
People are locked up, so what do I do? I started listening to podcasts a week.
You probably kept people sane during the lockdown, because the messages I were getting and the people that speak highly of you are talking about like how it's helped them, how they've benefited from shitting at home and listening to someone else's story and thinking, fucking hell, it's not that bad for me. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. You know, this gives you a platform to, you know, because people are interested in human interest stories. You know, the austerity, the barbaric lifestyles they've lived.
I like to keep the stories as real as possible.
Yeah.
My podcasts were flying, but then I think I had like 70,000-80,000 K, and then Liverpool, Dan G came on, and boom, explosive interview, and just he kind of took my podcast to another level as well, because that went viral. His story was explosive.
Yeah, he's getting big numbers, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's got a great following, big following now. He's got his enemies, but who hasn't?
Yeah, he hasn't. Yeah, he's involved in a lot of choose a life,
not a knife.
Not a knife. It's similar to stuff that I'm doing at the minute with this prior to the lockdown. It's called Weapons Down, Gloves Up. You know, going into schools and colleges and delivering talks about, like, because we're talking about, you know, weapons, totality of it all. You know what I mean? There's guns, knife crime. You know, no one ever came into my school.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
you've got to listen to people who's lived it. It doesn't matter. I don't care what anybody's done in the past. If you're making changes and if you're becoming a better person, then I've got to take my hat off to anybody. Do you know what I mean? And I've had a lot of people come on the show who you can see has changed, who you can see is working on themselves to go for a better life. They're just sick of that feeling of being sick. Yeah. I just hate that. Marvin Herbert as well a few weeks ago, again, explosive, man. He just shot 5 times, want to change his life. I've mixed it up so much with Big Tony Bellew, another great guy. Come on, told his story, Tommy Mallet. The interviews from the reality show, man, just again, everybody's got inspiration somewhere. I always try and leave golden nuggets for somebody to watch, no matter who I interview, no matter if it's a bad, all my interviews I believe are good anyway, but I always try and leave golden nuggets for people to go, I've got an inspiration. Sometimes I can repeat myself, but do you know what, that's good, because then the more you listen, the more it'll register in your brain that you are good enough, you can make changes. You don't have to self-loathe and feel sorry for yourself and blame anybody that you're fat and you're in an abusive relationship, you hate the job. You can fucking change. You just need to get off your ass and take the steps daily, every inch, as long as you're going towards your goals. I do goals every day and I do affirmations. I repeat that shit daily and it's fucking working. I don't care, maybe I am psychotic, but I was fucking psychotic anyway. So now I'm just putting it into a more positive light. I want to change the game, man, and help homelessness, help suicide, help people with addictions, but I must still stay grounded, because all this, there's a lot of pressure. I mean, millions of people are watching your stuff. Pressure comes with
Yeah,
that. And I'm very good at self-sabotage. Fuck it, rip the whole ceiling down, it's too much, I quit, I want out.
Yeah.
But right now I'm on the path.
That's just fear.
Yeah.
It's what I get from you is sincerity. I feel it coming out of your pause. It's like you're doing it for the greater good. You're not doing it for your own benefit.
But it makes me feel good.
It does, yeah.
I did a homeless documentary where I slept in the streets for 7 days. I questioned that. Was I doing that to get attention so the birds think I'm a good guy?
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, but then someone said to me, that doesn't matter what way you look at it, you still fucking done it.
Exactly,
and it made me feel a bit better because I always had an agenda. I was a little fucking, I was everywhere for shoplifting, for doing bad things to create money, to get money, income to feed my addictions. So I was always a little mole. I was always earning somewhere. Do you know what I mean? So I know every angle that I do, every agenda, that am I doing it for the right reasons or am I doing it for myself? But you need to understand you must do things for yourself also.
Exactly, yeah.
But you must also don't forget about others. Now, is everything else that I do and progresses, I became more kinder, I believe, which is so weird. I feel as if I don't need to, like I drive the 300 quid car and I've
seen it.
Yes. I drove down Liverpool, I was only getting one exhaust, man. The fucking exhaust fell off.
What's this banger here?
Yeah. It makes some noise. You probably heard it coming from Glasgow, but back in the day I felt as if I needed the nice car, the nice watch, and I had fuck all. Now I'm starting to do well. I don't need to show off anymore. I don't need his approval or his approval. I don't need any of that shit because I approve myself. Do you know what I mean? I don't get me wrong, I will get a bit of luxury next year, but right now, man,
and also it makes the misery feel a little bit better when you've got more money. But no, it's not. I get what you're saying because I can identify with the fact that, like, my brother Joseph, I never spent time with him growing up, and I had to spend time with him when I got released from prison.
How was that adjustment?
That was it was quite,
because as much as we love our family, mate, I still fucking crack up at them. We still have big fights and arguments. Do you know what I mean? And because if you're locked up in a cage, you're used to your quiet time. Do you know what I mean? For
me, it was like I found myself on my phone chatting to anyone and everybody, getting a bit of attention. You know, I'm like in someone's roast dinner in fucking wherever they are, and I've got my brother trying to tell me about his day, and I go, yeah, in a minute, in a couple of days, give us a week, come back next month, because I was more interested in social media,
the fake attention,
and liking someone else's family instead of my own. And then one day he just got up and walked off, and I noticed it, and I put the phones on, and that's when the relationship developed. And I started to do things with him, and again, like you said, I asked the question, was I doing it because, you know, people go, oh, throw bouquets at Billy, look what he's doing for his brother? It wasn't. It was because I felt so guilty about not being there for him growing up, and it made me feel good, and it made me laugh, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to take responsibility and I'm going to get him involved in some kind of fitness, because he wasn't. So he's joined the Inclusive Hub, going to an autism boxing group. He enjoys it, he goes weekly. Now that's been put on hold, so that's sad. And we've done a lot of songs. You know, we had loads of followers on Twitter, then we got banned, by the way.
Your Twitter get took down, what happened?
Yeah, because we were miming songs, you know, from like records, and Sony got in touch with me and sending me emails from Twitter, blah blah blah, take this down, and I just didn't acknowledge the email. I just thought it was okay, it'd be fine, and boom, one day, 0 followers.
Right, out.
It took me ages as well. I had 5,000 photos, you know, going for it. But yeah, no.
Yeah, your relationship looks stronger now.
Yeah.
You look as if there's true love there and compassion, and that makes you become a better person. And changing me as well was doing the homeless documentary. I realised, what the fuck do I need to moan about? Why do I need to moan about when people's been on the street for 25 years? Even people like Barbara O'Hare and Stevens, so many people, even the True Crime podcast as well, you're trying to understand that these boys and men have had some serious hard upbringings, and now you get a better understanding that we're all kind of fucked up, man. We're all kind of struggling. We just want to be liked and do good in the world. Do you know what I mean? I think even the bad people, I think they're just lost. Yeah, I've listened to a few podcasts. Not a big fan of listeners, but I don't know why. I'm not a big fan of listening to anything at the best of times. I'm like one of those people that put a movie on and I've got to watch another halfway through. I can't.
concentrate on a few on something. But then I've watched a few that you put on and I thought, wow, you know, their story is so similar to my own. It's frightening. It's like they're just as vulnerable as me. Because yeah, we can all pretend, we can all put that mask on. I've done it. You know, I want people to think that I'm this kind of way of, like, this kind of guy who can get through stuff. People say to me, how did you survive your experience in Thailand? And the reality was, I just had to keep breathing. Just keep breathing. I just keep moving forward. You know, there was times when I wanted to end my life. It's weird because you're in that limbo where you want to die, but you don't want to die, but you don't want to live in the moment.
Yeah,
it's fucking horrible. It's horrible. It's like it's but you just push on through.
Yeah, that's the only thing you can do.
Yeah, that's all I've ever done. But yeah, you're right. I agree, and I'm quite excited about what guests I'm going to get. I'm under no illusion that it's going to be.
Who are you going to get on? Who's your on agenda?
Right, I've been in touch with a few recently. Like there's a guy called I think it's Paul Smith, Paul the Joker. He's a big comedian in Liverpool, and he's willing to come on. Tony Johnson, warrior. He's a great boxer. Boxed a few great fighters over the years. He's a good friend of Tony Bellew's as well, Tony Johnson.
Big Tony's a great guy, man.
Yeah.
I love Big Tony Bellew.
You know what? I've never actually met Tony Bellew, but we've got so much in common. Like, we're both blue noses. We both support Everton.
You're flying.
Yeah, we're both Scousers.
Yeah.
And we've both worked with Stallone.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know, I've never met him.
Yeah. I wanted to put you on to Tony then, because he set that up for me. Tony Murrell.
Tony Morell. Tony Morell's brilliant. I like Tony.
Great guy, man.
From
I
Sunny.
to him before I came down there.
From Sunny Runny, Tony.
Yeah, great guy. Love him to bits.
He is. He's the first time I met Tony, he brought me along to Duncan Ferguson's a night with Duncan Ferguson. Now, the week before, right, this is a true story. I took Duncan Ferguson on the pads. Mm-hmm. Right, big Dunk, bam, bam, bam. Right, he was gashing, but he could bang this guy. And I tweeted it, and it was bouncing, it was getting retweeted, and there was comments here, comments there. Some of them were negative, some of them were positive. And then I got a message off Evan in the community. I don't know who it was. Can you take that tweet down? Big Junk's not happy with what you're with that. And I was thinking, he's not even on social media. He's not on Facebook. He's not on any platform at all. So I was thinking, nah, is he? But out of respect, I took it down. So Tony's invited me to Runcorn, and I said, Big Junk's doing this night. So I went there. I thought, I'll have a word with him. You know what I mean? And do you know what? He was fucking brilliant. Great story, by the way.
Yeah.
Great story. Mm-hmm. Took me in the back, give me a little mention whilst he was doing his talk about the pad work, and it was just nice to feel that, like, I felt a little bit important and a bit acknowledged by, you know what I mean?
He would be a great guest.
He's fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
As Joey loves him.
He stuck the head in a player up in Scotland and ended up in Berlin.
Yeah.
In jail, but SFA never helped him. That's why we never played for Scotland. He says, "Fuck yous." So he did. He took, because they could have got him out of jail.
See, like there's, I'm not like saying this because I'm being biased, but Everton and Liverpool. I mean, Everton in the community as a whole. I mean, I've had a couple of the Everton players get in touch with me, slip into me DMs, send me a message about my brother Joe. Mm-hmm. I haven't sent them messages, and they've just been really concerned about him, you know, because he was getting bullied, he wouldn't get buses, and he's quite vulnerable. You know, he takes a lot on board, that kid, and I've tried to like empower him to be independent and get a bus on his own so he can travel to these clubs without having to rely on lifts, because he gets let down, because, you know, life is life. People have the problems and things, you know, they can't turn up. So I said, well, you get the bus, you'll be fine. He just went into total anxiety mode. I found out the reason why and shared it and asked for people's support about, like, standing up to bullying, and he was I think Balassi, some Everton player, brilliant, sent him a top, and some guy from Glasgow, Chris, threw him a portrait. It was just lovely, just the support he gets. Mm-hmm. Sending him t-shirts, you know, Everton shops. I think, send me one.
Yeah.
I need one. No, I don't. No, I'm alright. I'm fine. But yeah, the power, you know, and the power of social media and the love and care and understanding and a genuine sincerity from people out there.
Yeah.
You know, we live in
People do care.
They do, yeah.
People, it doesn't matter who you are in life. But as human beings, we're brought on this earth to love, show compassion. But we just go through maybe hardships through family members and hate, and you just be conditioned that you think that's the world. But people genuinely do care. When bad shit happens, humans want to help. We do want to help. We genuinely do care. Do you know what I mean? It's just, again, we get caught up in our own wee world.
Self-centeredness.
Yeah, we caught up in our own wee world, and we want bigger things, we want more. So that's why it's always good to keep the foot in the ground and realise, wait a minute, I ain't made it yet, James.
No,
Shut up, you ain't a fucking celebrity. That doesn't mean shit, but I just know where I'm going and where I'm going to take things. But if you can build platforms and then can help other people, man, then that's an amazing thing. I believe my interviews will get watched 20, 30, 40 years down the line. People will be studying them because the stories and the people are in them, and is mega stuff.
So what do you feel like moving forward with your life and your podcast, and what is it that you eventually, if not, wanted to turn into?
So 5 years, I'll do the podcast game. I'll be the biggest in the world. Big statement, but so
bigger than Joe Rogan.
Yeah, he's jumping ship, so that leaves the door open for me. Once I start hitting New York, LA, going to Russia, Colombia, Argentina, I'll box off the world. Everything will be different. Sports stars, gangsters, it'll be mixed, but this time it'll be global.
Yeah.
And then I'll do my documentaries. I'll make hard-hitting documentaries about drugs, suicide, powerful stuff that people can relate to and maybe get. Because you can watch a podcast and you'll feel great for an hour or two, but you're back to your normal self. You're back to that normal state of maybe feeling agitated, want to start using again. You get a bit of inspiration, but you must keep going. I still fight every fucking day. So once I box off that, I'll make a few million quid, support my family, give my mum the life that she deserves, my kids, my family, and then I'm out, mate. 5 years, I'm out, bro.
Brilliant.
I'm smoke bombing.
I don't
want social media. I just don't. It's all built. I craved it for so long. I craved a blue tick. I craved followers. I craved attention. And then when I started getting it, I realised it was fake as fuck. And I'm glad that. The reason being, I've worked so hard for the last 2.5 years. I ain't got it from. It's not just exploded. I have worked relentless every single day. So I've enjoyed the process and the hard work. I can enjoy it, and I started to realise in all these wee things. I think if you get attention and I think if you create the attention fast, it's such a week or a month, maybe coming off your Love Island, and boom, you don't really enjoy it because you think you've made it.
Yeah.
I'm still at a place where people might think, oh, he's made it. I ain't made it. I'm only just starting. So now I want to do the 5-year thing and then a smoke bomb. I enjoy my life. I'll still do my homeless work. I'll still do my suicide work, but it'll be in the background. Right now I just need to be the face and create, because I know I'm starting to get staff to work for me and do this. I'm creating jobs, man, and I'm just a guy for the fucking streets. People say, oh, did you know you were? I did. I always knew where I would get to, but I still need to stay 2 foot in the ground because it can run away for you fast. I don't know what's round the corner, bro.
Is there any guests that you've that have eluded you, that
I've had on the show,
that you've wanted to get on the show, but they've kind of like, you haven't got in touch or responded? Frankie Boyle.
He fucking blocked me on Twitter, man. I've never spoke to the guy. I've never spoke to him.
Why would he block you on Twitter?
There's a guy called Tom English in Scotland who's a journalist, but he's always he goes back and forth with people. I don't know if he's got the names mixed up, but I have never spoke to Frankie Boyle. And the thing about Scotland as well is that, like, your celebrities up there, I'm moving through the ranks. I'm getting a lot of attention. Sometimes I don't feel as if there's enough support. Like if somebody's asks me about doing a podcast or what doing that, I will reply to near enough every message that I can.
Yeah.
And I'll give them support to say, look, this is what I've done. Yeah. You kind of see a lot of the big celebrities in Scotland don't do that shit. I don't like that. I don't fucking like that. Like, don't forget your own ass.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, to be honest, I wouldn't be sitting here today doing this for the first time if it wasn't for you. Yeah. If it wasn't for you encouraging me. Because I'm like, this is how it is for me. I wrote one book, it became a bestseller, and it's done really well. It grew legs, and it brought me to where I am today. The producer says, you need to write again. I thought, what am I going to write about next? You know, a decade went by, and the shit that he experienced in that decade after coming out of a prison in Thailand was just as bad. Mm-hmm. It was just as bad. So, you know, I ended up writing a second book, and I wrote that like with fucking sweat and blood and pain and feelings, pen to paper, right? No one, I haven't sat there and I've dictated a story and someone's wrote it for me. I've wrote that myself, and I felt really, I felt that was important for me, because you can fool a baker and get away with a bun, but when you fool yourself, you'll end up with none. So when you're writing about yourself, you can't escape those feelings. I you know, for me, it was like, my biggest fear was fucking falling in love with a fella called Bob, bangs up and silent. I would never tell anyone that, you know what I mean? You know, I changed my name to Yusuf Muhammad just for a bit of food, you know what I mean? And became a Muslim. Stuff like that was quite embarrassing, but when you write it down, you're cringing about stuff that you've done. It becomes really honest because it's attractive. People go, oh, fucking, I thought like that. I would have done that. Yeah. You know what I mean? It gives people the chance to see that we're not fucking perfect. So when I had the producer saying to me, you know, you need to write a second one, and I have done, and I said, fuck, that gets released in spring next year.
Good, mate.
There was a bit of controversy over the title. The first title of my book was A Prayer Before Dawn. There was a reason behind that. The second one, and you mentioned it, Surrender. Right, the second book, I titled it Surrender from the Heart, because when you surrender, you win. You give up. You throw the towel in. Enough's enough. That kind of surrender. You know, we're not in a fucking fight no more. We just surrender, look, and live and let live. But the powers that be sort of wanted to change the title, so I think it's called Fighting Back, a Prisoner's Tale of Redemption. So yeah, that gets released as well, and I'm quite excited about those achievements. I'm like yourself. It's like I need people to encourage me.
Yeah. We go flat, don't
you? You can do this, Bill. You know what I mean? And 2 years later, and I've got a friend from Glasgow who I'm going to interview. No one's ever heard of him, in a sense of like he's a celebrity, he's a gangster, but he's got the greatest story that I've ever heard, James. And he's funny, and he's witty, and he's just a fucking human being. And I think he's from Postle.
Oh, I'm from Postle. I think you said Govan, is it?
Govan or Postle. I was speaking to him the other night, George, and I'm looking forward to finding out if he can come on due to his work, and he's going to let me know. But yeah, that's the kind of people that I'd like to start with, as well as you. See, it's like, I just would appreciate like your guidance and advice, and who would get on, and I would do it, and I would deliver it. I didn't even know how to put the mics here before. You know what I mean? I had them like stuck in my ear and everything. You know, I wouldn't know what to do, and this is what we do. We ask people for help, and you know, we get humble.
I started in somewhere half the size of this, my very first podcast. So I did one camera, and now we've got fucking 3, 4, 5 cameras. We've got sound, cameraman. Do you know what I mean? It's just progression. But
you're living the dream.
Yeah, this is a 2.5 year chipping away, driving religiously up and down to London, Manchester, Liverpool, putting in the grind. But I loved it. And it doesn't matter the guest. I can get the biggest celebrity in the world, and they might not hit the numbers of the guy round the corner who's robbed a bank and changed his life. Everything's about content. Yeah. Just let somebody tell their story. People say, oh, you let people listen. You're a good listener. I'm not. It's just, you give somebody a question and you let them roll. It's about, so we're already relaxed. We're talking. Yeah. There's no fucked up questions where you're trying to throw somebody under the bus. No. And I always give my guests the opportunity to see the podcast before it goes out as well. I think it builds a bit of trust, and I'd like to think if anybody phones my guest and they ask about me, they would speak highly of me. I've never fucked any of my guests over. I have got an agenda that I want to be the biggest, so people come on my show, tell their story. They're also, I wouldn't say using me or using them, but they're getting what they want. They're getting a platform to tell their story, and giving them the platform. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's true. I'm you know, I've been asked to go on podcasts, and you know, I look and think the numbers are a bit low. You know, today's my agenda, so I'm trying to expose things, and I'm trying to get things out there. It's obvious we use, you know, life is a trade-off. I'm telling you something because you want to listen. You're telling me something because I want to hear it. You know, that kind of stuff. It's like the monkey and the organ grinder. You know, we work together. But that's how it is. Yeah, it's a business. But what I was laughing at as well this morning, right, is the Glasgow, Liverpool, the 2 sexiest accents on the planet, by the way.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
And probably, you're probably going to need subtitles to listen to either of us, because when I was on the true Geordie, and I don't like reading comments, but I have sometimes you read a negative one and you go a little bit skew with it, but fucking asshole, but like yourself, I just let it go.
He done well with that. He's done well with True Geordie. Fair play to that big guy for building that as well. He built that from nothing.
Yeah.
That takes fucking hard work and grind, man.
Brian, lovely fella. Lawrence, I like Lawrence. Lawrence is, he stays in touch. He's just had a baby. This is nice.
So what happened with the comments?
The comments were, I believe he's got a great story, but I can't understand the fucking word he's saying.
Yeah.
No, like you know, you need subtitles. It's like when I go on holiday, like I'm on abroad or something. Like somebody like these youngs. What part of Scotland are you from?
Yeah.
Look, they confuse Scousers, don't they? And yeah, I'd like to little shout out to Miss T from Bolton Prison. She's a big fan of yours, by the way.
Yeah.
Before I forget about her, she supported me when I was away, and you know, and I am really grateful for all the things she's done, and big shout out to my family as well. Is there any pearls of wisdom? I know this is a big one, innit? Is there anything you'd like to tell the people at the end? It's a fucking big one, innit, really? But what is it, what you'd say before we finish?
I just say believe in yourself. Yeah. Understand that tomorrow can be a better day. Today can be a better day. You just need consistency, and your brain only repeats what it knows. So if you're doing the same shit day in, day out, you ain't going to change that unless you do something different, and then create different neural pathways to understand that you don't have to feel and think the way you are doing right now. If you're struggling, if you're using, no matter if it's weed, Valium, whatever it is you're using, you can change. There's people been there through more trauma than me and you together that are still living a happy, healthy life. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's just when you hit a bit of misery, we don't handle reality well anymore, because we know we're getting fed lies. So what do? We self-medicate, whether it's alcohol, drugs, yourself harming, taking drugs and alcohol if it's every night, and just believe in yourself that you don't need to keep doing it. You can change, make better decisions. Just understand that you're not alone as well. Reach out, family member, friend, and say, look, I'm struggling. There's so much help out there, but people don't utilise it enough because we're so much pride that I don't need help, I don't want help, I'm fine. Fine's the worst word you can use, because you don't need to be fine. You can understand that you can have a great life, but also happiness and positivity is not there 24/7. You've got to work at it, do what you love, get out and walk. If you're overweight, stop eating as much. If you're using, stop using. It is as simple as that. It is hard, but it can be done. Your prime example can be done. I'm prime example, it can be done. Now the two of us are sitting here, you're getting your second book out, starting your podcast. It's beautiful to see, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Listen,
thank you for coming along.
Yeah.
Love you.
Thank you, brother. Love you, brother.
Hello guys, if you've enjoyed this podcast, then subscribe here. Follow me on all social media platforms here. And my guests are here. Thank you.